Hello and welcome to Carcassonne Online. When you picture the end of the world, you probably imagine sprawling cities in chaos, or maybe a sudden global freeze.
Right, something highly dramatic.
Yeah, exactly. You don't usually picture a quiet farming village in southern France with, like, barely 200 residents. But in December of 2012, that exact village, Bugarach, briefly became the center of the universe.
It really did. Thousands of people flocked there, convinced the world was ending.
And they thought their only escape was an alien spaceship hidden inside a mountain. So today we are doing a deep dive into how a simple geological quirk turned a sleepy community into a global refuge for the apocalypse.
Well, the whole phenomenon really stems from the mountain looming over the village, Pic de Bugarach. Its defining feature is that it is physically upside down.
Wait, upside down? How does that even work?
I mean, the rock layers at the summit are literally older than the rock layers at the base. You have older Jurassic limestone sitting directly on top of younger Cretaceous rock.
Let me try to visualize that. It's like if you push a heavy rug across a hardwood floor. You slide it until it catches, buckles, and, folds completely back over itself.
Yeah, that is a perfect way to picture it. So suddenly, the bottom of the rug is resting directly on top.
Oh, wow, okay.
Geologists call this a thrust fault, and in this specific case, a clip. Millions of years ago, when the Pyrenees Mountains were forming, intense tectonic compression squeezed the Earth so hard that older rock was physically thrust up and folded over the younger rock.
A folding rug makes sense mechanically, sure. But it is a huge leap from tectonic plates to expecting an alien rescue. Does a simple geological fold really birth decades of legends?
It acts as a blank canvas, really. When a landscape defies obvious physical logic, human imagination rushes in to fill the gap. A physical inversion of the rocks opens the door for an inversion of reality.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Right. Over decades, Bugarach became a magnet for esoteric myths. Rumors started that the peak held lost treasures of the Cathars. They were a medieval religious sect wiped out in the region centuries ago.
And from medieval treasure, it escalated to claims of an underground alien garage. I mean, there were even rumors that this specific mountain inspired Jules Verne's journey to the center of the Earth.
And Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes, which all culminated in a viral internet prophecy. As the 2012 Mayan doomsday approached, digital echo chambers branded Bugarach as the sole earthly safe zone.
The theory was that aliens inside the mountain would emerge and rescue anyone gathered there. This shows how a remote, underpopulated area allows digital fantasies to balloon unchecked.
Because there's no one there to say otherwise.
Exactly. There is no large local population to constantly debunk the myth online, so the narrative just spirals.
I have to push back on the internal logic of those doomsday tourists, though. I read a quote from a local resident who pointed out a glaring flaw.
Oh, what was that?
Well, some of these cult members were traveling to the mountain planning to end their lives so their consciousness could be saved by aliens. Isn't that like putting on a life jacket to drown?
Yeah, it completely defeats the purpose of seeking a safe zone.
Right.
But rationality takes a backseat when people are seeking the comfort of a grand narrative. The internet provides a community that validates extreme beliefs, insulating groups from outside logic. They aren't looking for a scientific safe zone, They are looking for salvation.
And that search for salvation had severe, tangible consequences for the locals. We're talking about a tiny village suddenly flooded with up to 20,000 truth seekers, spiritualists, and camera crews.
Here is where you see digital myths demand real-world government responses. The French authorities legitimately feared mass casualties or ritualistic tragedies.
I can imagine.
Yeah, a government agency called Miviludes, which monitors cult activity, had to intervene. It became a stark clash between quiet agricultural life and a globally coordinated delusion.
The mayor actually had to block access to the mountain. Security was heightened, and you needed a pass just to walk the streets of the village.
Which is highly unusual for a quiet farming town.
Very. Though, to be fair, some locals saw an opportunity. One resident started selling a Cuvée Bugarach wine, labeling it with instructions that it supposedly helps you communicate with extraterrestrials.
A bit of opportunistic humor there. But the underlying situation was severe. The digital realm manifested a physical crisis that local police had to manage with barricades and checkpoints.
It is highly ironic. The village of Bugarach did survive 2012, but not via an alien rescue. They survived by deploying the French police force.
It forces you to look at how the modern digital age can weaponize something as simple as a geological anomaly into global hysteria.
It really makes you wonder. Take a look around your own region. What ordinary landmark, maybe a weirdly shaped hill, a deep lake, or an old cave, might be the next target for an internet myth?
A sobering thought to leave you with.
If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to subscribe and share it widely.